Fans, it's Mr. Smiley here with a war recap of our war Terps win B1G against Revolt. 73 to 57, pretty crushing victory here. Good job by everybody. Want to highlight some of the attacks. First one, of course, I want to highlight my own attack, both because I have a huge ego and every Town Hall 10 3-star deserves to be celebrated and featured. And also, this is just a really good 2-star strategy, especially for as we have a lot of guys who are max Town Hall 9s who are starting to look at strategies for when they become new Town Hall 10s. This is one of my favorites because it has enough damage with it that it's not as reliant on hero levels, even though, obviously I do have the hero levels for this attack. And against tougher Town Hall 10s and with lower heroes, this is a very solid 2-star strategy. Against weak walls and with beefy hero levels, this becomes a 3-star strategy. And so this is the Smiley special attack. 4 Golem, 4 Witches. We're going to have 2 level 3 Witches in the clan castle. Hopefully even a new Town Hall 10 that Golem 5 will be, if not your first, one of your first upgrades. And then in the clan castle, you can either go with your max giants or you can go with witches. You'll have to play around to see which is more effective at lower levels. Ideally, you do want to get those giant levels up, not only for these kinds of attacks, but also because level 7 giants are pretty awesome in raiding. So we're going to come in with the 4 golem here, setting the corners, and then 2 golem here in the middle. You're going to have your row of whistles behind here, and then after they get a little bit of penetration, then you're going to start putting in the clan castle witches and the rest of the witches. You're going to put the giants, I forgot that, you're going to put the giants in first. And giants just completely soak up Inferno rays. So they're awesome not only against single, but against double Infernos. They soak up the rays. Against single, they're more of a distract to keep the single Inferno from melting your Burger King. But witches also do a great job at that, which is why I went with this strategy on this base. The single Inferno, if you're going with a mass golem attack, it'll still work against a ring style base like this. But I felt that the Smiley special would have a little bit more damage to the witches would be able to distract this far end Inferno, and then the witches and the extra wizards and giants would have a little bit more damage to kind of chew through this wall, this wall, this wall here, and give me and I guess this one here also to give me a potential 3-star. Really, during the course of the attack, the front end of the attack is enough to get here, and then all you have to do is break through one wall, and you're probably going to get access to pretty much all of this back row here. So fortunately, my Burger King did survive long enough that I could just pop his ability and bust through a wall pretty quickly. But I think even without that, when you have, you drop the Earthquake here, then you're going to have a Rage, second Rage for the core. You can pick whether you want to freeze the first one or the second one. Usually I will freeze the second, but since this is a single, it really depends on how much at risk my Burger King is. Drop a couple poisons in here for Dragloon or whatever's in the clan castle, or if it's a hound, just wait for it to pop. So let's go ahead and watch this attack. But the reason why I wanted to feature this is not only it's a nice attack on a Town Hall 10, but it also gives a strategy that is easily replicable for a lot of Town Hall 10 bases. Either if you have this wide open one, maybe you could have set the corners with a couple of wall breakers to create a better funnel, or even if it's not a ring base, that Earthquake, if it gives you a clear funnel, clear channel to the cores for you to take out the Inferno, the witches are a good way that a lot of the 3-star attacks at Town Hall 10 are going to rely on the healers on your Archer Queen to kind of make it more sustainable, that the core dive takes out the core, and then the healers makes the attack more sustainable by having the Archer Queen be protected and taking out the rest of the base. This one, instead of having healers, the witches provided that they survive all the the initial mortar blast, are going to do a really good job of just putting that seemingly never-ending stream of skeletons out in front of the archer queen, protecting her, just like bodyguards throwing themselves at archer towers and cannon. And so ultimately, the healers on the queen for a lot of strategies is going to be a more sustainable three-star potential attack. But as a kind of a happy middle ground to hedge the 2-star, the Smiley special here with all those giants and all those skeletons is going to be something that gives a lower level Town Hall 10 a solid 2-star option, while still giving a Town Hall 10 with high heroes a 3-star option against weaker walls. Against Legos, this might not have had as much 3-star potential. Lavas and magma, you probably wouldn't get 3 stars out of this, but you'd still get a solid 2-star attack, which in most wars is what we're looking for from a Town Hall 10. So here you can see they busted through, and at this point, the queen can still take a little bit of damage, but the witches are just keep on coming up with skeletons. All those barbarians from the Burger King and some remaining giants and golem are enough that to distract the defenses while the queen just takes out the defense. So great attack, me. Thanks, me. Let's go with another attack. One of our newer members, Overly Wham, had a nice shattered GoHo on number 9 here, Mr. Gromit. So let's go to the replay. Let's zoom in a little bit. So here, I think he ended up not using his spells as effectively as he could have. Still ended up with a 3-star. I think the original idea was to take this jump here and do an entry that's more kind of traditional for a shattered GoHo on a southern teaser. And the shattered GoHo on a southern is basically the best attack for this style of base. As you can see up here in the top half of the base, so from here up, there is almost no room for bombs. You have a little bit of room for springs here, which would be pretty ineffective, surrounded by a hut and some mines. You have a little bit of room here by these archer towers, but this whole top half here is a hogger's dream. This whole bottom half is where you're going to have all the giant bombs. So usually what you want to do here, it's easiest, and I think that's why Wham had the or overly Wham had the jump, because his initial thought was, hey, I'm going to put this jump right here, and that way it's going to get me access to the queen. It's going to get my golems, one of my golems, deeper access to these crossbows, so that I can make sure that both of these crossbows are tanking when I send in the hogs here from the north. And in terms of how you send the hogs, I don't think it really matters on these kinds of bases where you send it. Perpendicular is usually how I prefer to send it, as long as you make sure that your spread of hogs is wide enough that they're not going to have to circle back. So here, I think his entry was a little bit south, and didn't use the jump as well as he could have, but it's still a very, very nice attack. Very good base recognition to see that this kind of base with the tight compartments in the north is going to be easy to be hogged, and then the bottom is where you want to have your golem kind of roam around a little bit and start popping bombs. And then by the time your hogs get from the north to the south, there's not going to be much left for them. So here he goes with an attempted, not sure if that's an attempted lure or just trying to figure out if there are bombs down there on that side. Minion, clear away the trash. There we go with a lure. Turns out it's a hound in the clan castle, so he's not really going to have to worry about it until his Whizzles and his archer queen start popping that hound, and then he can lay out the poison on the hounds. So there he does a nice job with his funnel. Again, I would have gone with a more northern entry to try to chew up a little of that base, but this obviously is a good tactic here too. Sprinkles a couple of hogs just to destroy some defenses um, as they're distracted by the golem. Again, I probably wouldn't have wasted hogs on that. You know, it ended up not being a big deal. I think he took out one of the defense with 2 hogs, but that bottom, you know, that's where all the traps are going to be. As the golems start roaming around down there, they start popping spring traps, and then you know at this point, just nice, easy hogging. As long as you get your heal drops down, which Overlay does a nice job of doing, your hogs are just going to rip apart all the defenses that are up there in the north. Your Archer Queen is going to get enough of that south that she's behind the golem. You know, she's just going to be able to destroy most of that herself. That doesn't quite get all of it, but gets enough of it that enough bombs are cleared that when that hog pack comes in, they're really not going to hit much of anything as they run through there destroying stuff. So a couple of springs there, but at that point I think he still had almost all of his hogs, and it's just clean up. So really nice attack, really good base recognition. Solid job there, Overly Wham. Let's just finish off watching the cleanup. Ton of hogs. I don't think he lost any of his hogs in the actual north part of the attack. All right, good job. So this last one, let's feature. This is attack by I think it's our newest Town Hall 9 against another lower level Town Hall 9, and this is Beefy. And one of the reasons why I want to focus on this attack is that I think a lot of guys have seen some success at Town Hall 8 with level 2 Valkyrie, and a lot of them are now at a high level starting to see a lot of success with maxed Valkyrie in the GoVaLo. So this is a GoVaLo attack where they're using only level 2 Valkyrie, and that's why I want to focus on that and point that out, that you don't have to wait until you have max Valkyrie. Valkyrie 3 are going to work against a lot of bases, but against a lower Town Hall 9 Valk 2, especially if you have Max Valk in the Clan Castle, are going to be, which I don't remember whether he does on this one, but are going to be more than adequate to rip apart a base like this. And really, it's proportionate to, you know, the level of the Valk that you need in order to destroy a base is going to be proportional to the toughness of the base. So here we have Beefy's going to get an entry here with some wall breakers, I think, and then he's going to pop a jump here to get the Valk into this core. As you can see, the Expo, it is pointed up. There's only one of them. There's an Archer Tower, but these 3 air defenses are all in this core. Once he pops that jump and gets those Valkyrie into the core, they are going to rip apart these 3 air defenses, and there really isn't going to be much for to stop his 17 loons. That I think he does jump the gun a little bit over on this side, but he has plenty of loons to spare. You know, there is no 4th AD, but a lot of times on these bases you would see a 4th AD over here. So again, it's just really good job of base recognition. You know, obviously that's going to be the first step to having successful attacks, is knowing which style of attack this base is going to be most vulnerable against. There he sends a hog for the lure. Hound's not going to do all that much against a GoVaLo, but if there had been a Dragoon in there, that could have definitely hurt his Valkyrie with all that splash damage. So you want to make sure that if you can, you get the lure out. Certainly you want to get the Clan Castle out before you send in the Valkyrie. Valkyrie are going to be pretty tough when you drop a heal on it, but it's still best to know what you're dealing with in the Clan Castle. So there we go with the Archer Queen kill. Nice job getting the Queen firing on the Golem before sending in the King. Valkyrie are just going to make her disintegrate, finish off a mine, and then they're just going to jump into the core. Now that he's a Town Hall 9, he has the luxury of both the jump instead of an Earthquake, but then having a Rage in there to start the coring process and get stuff down really quickly. So there you know, most of the core is down except for the air defenses. The Valkyrie are going to start working on those air defenses. They're just going to run around, take out the crossbow there, There, the air defense is able to take out a little bit um, of the loons, but at this point there are so many loons and so few defenses that it's not really that big of a deal. Archer Queen does a nice job of taking out the air skeletons at the bottom. You see at the top, air skellies are doing a little bit of work on loons, but he does a nice job with a max poison, which is a lot faster acting than his own level 2 poison. Um, Using that on saving that for the air skeletons melted them pretty quickly. So great job on a beautiful GoVaLo. Again, that's my favorite attack to watch when it works. So good job there, showing us that you don't have to wait until you get max Valkyrie in order to have an effective Valkyrie attack at low level Town Hall 9. So until next time, let's go Terps!